Yo, welcome to the second episode of the Collective Speaks here on SECZN. So yeah, this is a little bit later than usual. I'm trying to find a good place to park this show. But this is our show dedicated to the fans, dedicated to the chat, who we like to call the keyboarded collective around here. Looks like it's gonna be just me tonight, which is cool. May have some more guys joining. And we're gonna go through some of y'all's biggest comments and some of y'all's most controversial comments that you guys left during our live show, our live ranking show. We're gonna talk about a few of them. I won't keep you long. I know it's getting late, but I promised you guys a show today, so I want to follow through with that promise. So before we get any further, let's just take a look at what we have in the chat so far. We got Tim the Two Man saying X-Man. Is that Terrence Howard and Wolverine? That's pretty cool, man. All right, and then we got Latoya coming in. She says, why are you here? I got to go to bed. Yeah, me too. I won't keep you too long. But we're going to go through a few of these, man, and see few of these comments and see what we come up with. So if you are watching, man, please go ahead, dive down into the comment section and put your hottest takes, and they may become an actual show topic here. So we'll go ahead and get right into it. Let's take a look at it. Let's take a look at the comments real quick. Yeah. Saban was the band, not Brammer. Not Bama, you know what it is, Tez. I think that's Get Musty. I'm almost sure it is. And then Ephraim said, man, what Ted's talking? What Ephraim talking about, man? Good little inside of there. But yeah, so before we get started, man, I do want to, like I said, introduce the chat there as the Keyboard Collective is what I affectionately name them. And the Keyboard Collective is now accepting applications. Absolutely. If you have not joined the Keyboard Collective, you want to hit that subscribe button on the channel so that you can be a part of this conversation, man. And like I said, with this show, we're making your comments the topic. So let's get into it, man. I'm not going to hold you guys too long. Let's take a look at the comments that we have that we selected so far. Some of them may sound familiar. Some of these are your comments. So one of the things, what I'm gonna do is just pick through a couple of these. We got Billy Valentine, the top left hand corner. He says, "Man, these kids," he says, they're not kids. They're grown. They make more money than anyone in the chat." That's a very true statement, man. This is a different day and age of college football that we live in. We know that the kids are getting paid now, and they're getting paid very, very handsomely. Is that affecting the product? Y'all let me know what y'all think about that. So, you think that kids getting paid thus far is affecting the product? You got 2 weeks of football. Have you seen anything specifically that you think that, like, man, if they wouldn't get paid, this game wouldn't have went like this? Uh, what what do you guys think? Y'all tell me. Um, Latoya Billingsley came in and said Ryan Williams is not a slot receiver, though. That's an interesting take because if you just listen to shout out to B Sharp and over at Sharpshooters podcast, I just left that one. And if you listen to Coach Sean, who's actually in the chat, he agrees with you, Latoya. You left this comment last week. He said the exact same thing on the show previously, is that Ryan Williams is not a slot receiver. I tend to agree with that, man. I think he lacks the physicality to be a slot receiver. Um, Maybe a little bit more weight on him would make him more suited for that. Uh, but man, I wish I wish everybody here would have heard Coach Sean analysis on that. Man, he should be at the X. He should be out on the outside where he can get into space. I think is where he's probably better suited. I think they try to use him more as a decoy. When you put him in the slot, when you see him on clear routes, it opens up a lot of things underneath. So I kind of get the logic behind it, but like realistically, you kind of limit yourself with the routes that you can call because he's not willing so much to go across the middle. Um, so yeah, I agree with that, Latoya, man. We had a long conversation about that one too. Let's take a look at some more of these. What we got here? Ed Darby said that rankings will always be crazy early in the year. It's hard to rank when voters, AP poll, can't look past the logos and who can be who. That's very, very, very true statement. It's a conversation we had. If you guys tuned in to the show Tuesday where we rank teams, it's a conversation that we had for a very long time. Man, these rankings, when you talk about the AP poll, you talk about preseason rankings, it's tough to rank teams. It's tough to rank teams without looking at the history of what they've done because it's so early in the season that a lot of teams haven't played anybody notable to speak of. So when you're looking at where that team is going to finish, you have to take into account what that coach has done in the history, what that team has done in history. You got to take all that into account because you just can't rank teams off what you heard they did in spring practice. You definitely got to take into account what other what the coach's history is and the team history and the game history or whatever game we're talking about. We got Dwight saying Mississippi. I think he's talking about Mississippi State there. They beat number 12 team and nobody else but Oklahoma beat someone ranked. That is very interesting too. Week 2. That's very true. Mississippi State beat the number 12 team in the country. Now did they deserve to be number 12? Yeah, that's debatable. I don't particularly like preseason rankings, so it's debatable whether they even deserve to be number 12 or not. But Mississippi State did go out and beat a ranked team. If we ranking resumes right now through 2 games, that's gotta be a solid win, right? You gotta look at that as a solid win. Um, let's see what else we got here. I'm just gonna go through these and then I'm gonna catch up these comments and see what you guys got to say. You got Kimberly saying, "Don't matter, Bama will beat Georgia, Vanderbilt, Oklahoma, Tennessee, and LSU." Georgia, let's see. I think that Georgia game is a lot closer than people give it the credit for right now. I mean, they saw the Florida State game, and a lot of people are picking Georgia heavily to win that game right now. But that may be fool's gold because I think that Florida State is a very, 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 very good football team this year. Uh, so that contest in Georgia between Alabama and Georgia, don't think that that's just going to be a blowout. That's going to be a very, very good football game. Uh, Also, that Vanderbilt game, you got to circle that one because they're playing well. Vanderbilt showed me something in their game week 2 when they were down to Virginia Tech and they played a brand of football that I didn't think that they could play. You look at Vanderbilt, you see a team that's primarily Russian team. They run option with the quarterback a lot. And they are built to be front runners and to control the clock. They're not necessarily built to come back from 20 points down in the football game, and they did just that, passing the ball. If they can add that to their offense, man, that's gonna be a dangerous game right there. Oklahoma's playing well right now, but by that time in the season, I don't know. I think all of these games, Vanderbilt, Oklahoma, Tennessee, and LSU are pretty much toss-ups for Alabama at this point. Um, so I don't know. It's interesting. I want to see how that goes. Um, and we got Trey Kessler here. He's putting up his rankings. He's got LSU at number 1, Texas at number 2, Oklahoma at number 3, Georgia at number 4. Number 5, he's got Missouri. Bama coming in at number 6. 7, he's got Vandy. South Carolina at 8, 9, Tennessee, and then Auburn at 10. So, yeah, let me know what y'all think about that list. I don't know if y'all can see this. I'm gonna make the screen bigger so y'all can see. I'm at the bottom left-hand corner here with Trey Kaiser's list. If you can read his list and then tell me what you think about that list. I mean, a lot of people are high on LSU, Texas, and OU. Those are the top 3 that I've seen so far. In most lists, honestly, have those and with Georgia maybe in there too. So I don't think he's off base there. But tell me what you think about that list. There's a couple teams missing on that one. Mhm. And then we got Latoya up here at the top. She's saying top middle. She's saying this is the most talented roster he's ever had. He's won every L where else. What's been the disconnect at Bama? All right, so obviously she's talking about Kalen DeBoer. So let's take a look. Let's talk about that one for a second. What has been the disconnect at Bama? I think one of the things I'm gonna see if I can get this pulled up here. I think one of the things that when we talk about Kalen DeBoer is that we don't take into account is this. We're talking about a guy who doesn't have a ton of Division One football experience when it comes to coaches, and actually the SEC this year is littered with a bunch of unexperienced coaches. It's Believe it or not, Hugh Freeze is probably one of the more experienced coaches in the SEC right now. Brian Kelly has been a head coach for a long time. Kirby Smart. But outside of that, you got a lot of guys that are 3 and 4 years into their tenure right now. So and Kalen DeBoer falls into that category. He's a fairly inexperienced coach when it comes to being a head coach and as well as being a head coach in this conference. So I think you definitely got to give him some grace there. And he's batting behind Michael Jackson, right? He's singing behind Michael Jackson. So it's always going to be a tough task. You got to give him some grace. Uh, in a little bit of time, right? Gone are the days where you expect the coach to come in and win in 3 or 4 years, I think now you have to give coaches a little bit more time, especially with roster turnover being so prevalent now. Now rosters turned over so fast. These guys aren't waiting around and you aren't able to build rosters. The transfer portal is taking players. Your team is looking totally different from one year to next. And yeah, you have to give these guys a little bit of time. So I was just trying to get it pulled up here. Let's see. Let's take a look at the board real quick. Let's see if we can get him up on the screen. And it is not. Uh Wait, let's go back here. See if we can get it. There we go. There's Caitlin. All right. So yeah, so we look at Kalen DeBoer, and we don't have this year on here, but we look at him. You see the 4 years of Division II football. Uh, and at a Division I level, this is this would be make his 6th year that we're on now in Division I football. Uh, the 2 years at Fresno State, I mean, they did get a lot better. Then we went to a bowl game, but then you see he had the 2 big years at Washington, which is why everybody's high on this guy. Like nobody's I don't think people are looking past the Washington days in for their assessment of Kellen DeBoer. They're definitely looking at 2022 and they're definitely looking at 2023 and they're saying that he should be able to replicate that with more talent because in theory, at Washington he had a bunch of 3-star players. So you give him the talent that they have at Alabama, a lot of people are banking on him doing very, very good things. But you have a coach who's been to a bowl game for the last 4 years. So he's on the trajectory of being a successful coach. I just think that the league is different from what he's accustomed to. If you heard me talk about this before, you know that I believe that Urban Meyer is the only coach from the West Coast to actually come into the SEC and have an immediate impact and success. The other ones really don't. I think it's like the brand of football that they play on the West Coast isn't really it doesn't really mesh well with SEC football. So I think that's where they struggle at. You see a lot of leagues getting blown when it comes to coaches from out west when they get to SEC football because they don't necessarily have the acumen to close games out. You just don't have to do that in the out west with those teams. It's more about scoring a lot of points. And that's what you see with a lot of these coaches from out west, and in particular Kalen DeBoer in that situation is, man, he you can see he wants to put up points. You can look at the play calls and see he wants to score points and have a dynamic offense. But sometimes in the SEC, it doesn't call for that, especially if you're playing one of these ball control offenses. Possessing the ball, time of possession becomes a lot more important than points. So let's take a look at we'll move on. Let's take a look at these a little more of these. Uh, he said, "Well, guess what? This is Dwight's comment. He said, "Well, guess what? We got Georgia versus Tennessee and Vandy versus South Carolina next week." I remember this comment because we had an argument on on our ranking show about uh, these teams, and yeah, it's kind of the point is it's as you move through the season, these teams start to play each other. We talked about that Georgia Tennessee game. I'll give you my quick thoughts on it. Uh, I've got Georgia in this game in a close one. I think being at Neyland Stadium means something. So I've got Georgia in this game 24-27. I think is what I had the points at, is where I'm taking it. Um, I just think that I think that Georgia, they haven't played anybody of note yet. But I really believe in Josh Heupel's ability to have a successful offense. Like Joy Aguilar is a quarterback that a lot of people didn't have a lot of data on and didn't know whether he would be able to play well in the SEC or not. However, Joey Aguilar is playing in a system that is very, very quarterback friendly. Not only is it very, very quarterback friendly, but he spreads the field and generates rushing yards very, very well. And one thing I can say about Joey Aguilar that's different from Nico is you saw Nico holding the ball and scrambling a lot, relying on his legs to create space and passing lanes. Joey Aguilar is 5-step drop, back foot, hit the ground, balls out. He's not waiting around to throw the football. And I think in that offense, if you're gonna scheme up plays, you gotta have a guy like that that's a willing passer. And that's crazy to say about a quarterback. You think that all quarterbacks are willing passers, but they're not really, man. Some of them look at the rush and they're not willing to let the ball go. Um and then that Vandy South Carolina game is, I think, maybe one of the most slept on games in the SEC. That's gonna tell us a lot because Vandy looks pretty decent, man. I'm not even gonna lie to you. And South Carolina struggled with a Virginia Tech team that Vandy beat by over 20 points, right? So that's gonna be a very interesting game. It's gonna tell me a lot about South Carolina. I'm high on South Carolina's pass rush right now. I think they can get to the passer. Um, but on the back end, I'm not as high on. And if Vandy can play that game like they played Virginia Tech in a passing game where they have to air the ball out, man, that's gonna be a tough game for them to navigate. So we're gonna breeze through a few of these right quick. Like I said, I didn't want to keep you guys too long. You got tight sports saying, what if you play the new guys and the old guys revolt? They can red shirt and dip and mask. Yeah, that's the trouble with this new transfer portal and NIL era is these guys are looking to play early. Um, and if you do play those newer guys, those older guys, they're hitting the portal. They're not waiting around and accepting that, hey, a freshman is taking my spot. So you have to be very careful about how you manage rosters. I think what we'll see a lot in the coming years of college football is the teams that manage their rosters the best will be the teams that end up being the most successful. More so than the talent that they acquire. The teams that are able to keep the talent in the door and get these kids on the field. Um, got Factors feature saying, does quality losses even matter to this point in the season, though? I don't think they do. Not at this point. I don't think they matter. But quality loss, like for example, if Texas, let's say Texas loses 2 games, with obviously one of them being that Ohio State game. At the end of the year, that Ohio State loss is gonna look decent on their resume. Um, but as of right now, I don't think nobody's giving Texas any bonus points for losing to a good team. I mean, you can't. It's only been 2 weeks. So, I think we have to wait till later on in the season to actually see, whether that quality loss thing actually matters. And then we got Tim the Two Man Taylor, who is, the title, if you look at the thumbnail, he has the title comment. Tim, if you in the chat, appreciate your comment, man. And it is, how does Bama fan like those new iPhone colors though? I'm not I'm not the only petty Tim out there. So yeah, if you missed it, Apple had their keynote, and of course we know that Tim Cook is a proud Auburn alumni. and they unveiled their Pro line of iPhones, uh, and notably, what was notable about them, if you can see it here, is I'll check and see if I can pull this up. What's notable about these is that they're Auburn colors, right? These are the only 3 colors that are available in that iPhone. There's no black, there's no white, there's just gray, and you got navy blue, and you got, um, orange. So it's very intentional that these are Auburn colors, and this is the first time something's happened like this. Now, I there's a bigger conversation that we're gonna have at a later date about this, but I believe that more of this is going to start to happen, right? I believe that you're gonna start to get bigger companies start to make products geared specifically towards schools, which is what I think is gonna happen, and which what I think is happening here at Auburn. Um, I think the NIL era, I think, seeing Yellowwood on the field. Sponsorships are getting more involved. I wouldn't be surprised if now is the time you start to see an Auburn player in a Apple commercial. My vote for that would be Cam Coleman. As a guy who wears 2 watches, I think he'd be the perfect spokesperson for Apple Watch. So yeah, they talk about it all the time. Every time he's on the field, he's got on 2 watches. Why not Tim Cook? If you listen to me and you're thinking about giving Cam Coleman a NIL deal, I need 10% of that, please, and thank you. All right, so let's take a look at like I said, we're gonna get through these real quick. Said Mississippi State did beat former Big 12 champ, which is valid. Yeah, we talked about that. They did go out and beat their former Big 12 champ. You got to give them credit for that. Dwight saying a quality win doesn't boost your program, doesn't boost your program, right? Because Bama, Ohio State, Georgia can have a quality win, but it doesn't shine light on them. That's very true. I mean, that's a product of being a winning team. Is your quality wins? People don't really look at those wins and say and elevate your program if you're already in Ohio State's position, if you're already in Georgia's position, if you're already looked at the way that people look at Alabama, then just beating a quality team just becomes beating a quality team at that point. It doesn't become this badge of honor. So there's that. And then remember, like, man, please guys put your bold takes in the chat. They could become segments of this show. So let's check out this one here from TriStar. He's saying you can have all the talent in the world, and it can't make up for bad coaching. Texas A&M under Jimbo Fisher and Tennessee early mid 2000s. Man, we talk about this a lot. If you followed me long enough, you know that I'm not a big fan of Jimbo Fisher at all. I just don't think that was a solid coach. I think he did a lot because he had talent. But that's a whole different conversation. But yeah, the talent matters, right? You need those guys if you're gonna compete for championship. You definitely can't go out there with a roster full of mid-level players and think that you're gonna win a championship. You definitely need talent. But what's more important is you need people to galvanize that talent. And then if you can get a coaching staff together that can do that, then you can move mountains on a football team. And so if you can't get a coach that can do that, then you end up like Texas A&M in a situation where you have all this talent that's loaded on your roster, and with talent comes big expectations, and they had huge expectations. And then you insert a Jimbo Fisher who's a championship winning coach, and when he doesn't do well, it looks really, really bad. You have extremely talented team that doesn't do well with a championship winning coach. It doesn't look good. So it definitely coaching elevates talent. I like to say that coaching elevates the talent that you have. The next one we have DJ Young saying, if it's what happens on the field, then how can South Carolina be ahead of Vandy and both of them played Virginia Tech? Carolina struggled early and Vandy blew them out. Man, hey, this is one of the that's an interesting question. It goes back to the first question. Well, one of the first topics we talked about. is how do you rank teams early in the season when you don't have a lot of data? You have to somewhat relegate to what they did in the previous seasons and the history of those teams, and I think that's what happens is when that's what's happening when you seeing that South Carolina, uh, and you're seeing, Vandy, when you're seeing those teams compared. South Carolina is a team that was a fringe playoff team last year. I think Vandy won 6 games, so I think early in the season after two games, only 2 games of data, you gotta give those teams credit, uh, just based on what they did in previous season. Let's see, a close loss to Ohio State's probably the best loss, possibly low key. Yeah, yeah, we talked about that earlier. Close losses possibly, a close loss to Ohio State. Consider how they're playing. Yeah, that is a pretty good loss. We got Dwight, second to the last on the right. He put his list up for the week. He's got South Carolina at 1, LSU at 2, Georgia at 3. At 4, we got Oklahoma, Texas at 5, Tennessee at 6, and Alabama coming in at 7. And 8, we got Vandy. We got, I think that's Mississippi State at 9, and then Auburn at 10. So his list is similar, very similar to Trey's list. So you can look at those two and compare 'em. And the last comment that we got tonight, like I said, we're gonna make this real quick, is we're letting 2 different group of 5 teams drop 20 points is not a good look for Texas A&M. Yeah, that's very true. Listen, I had Texas A&M as in the SEC championship game, basically. I have Texas A&M playing Georgia in the SEC championship game. And so far, Texas A&M has not looked the part. They have let 2 group of 5 schools put over 20 points on them. Their run defense does not look particularly good at all, does not look stout at all. This Notre Dame game is going to be interesting because I think Notre Dame has the best running back in the country. I look for Marcus Freeman to turn around and hand him the ball over and over and over again. Um, and we'll see what Texas A&M is made of. Now, I will say this: Marcel Reed is playing well. He looks good on the offensive end. Offensively, they look like a decent team that can put something together. If if indeed Texas A&M comes out with this win against this Notre Dame team in a physical game, Texas A&M is gonna rise up a lot of lists, man. They're gonna be able to you're gonna see them high on a lot of people's lists. And I'm hoping so because I wanna sound right with my picks. So, I'm hoping that they do, put it together and win that game, but just for all transparency, I picked them, to lose that football game, based on what they put on the field so far. So, yeah, that's it, man, you guys, for this episode of the collective speaks. I told you like this will be a quick one, and once I decide where we're gonna park this show, um, we'll kind of find a permanent home and time slot for it, so you guys will know. Let me know in the chat if you guys are opposed to like a midday show, or maybe even later than this. I don't know. Just let me know what time works for y'all if you're watching it live or if you watch it on the rewatch. Yeah, just put your comments in the chat and let me know. Like I said, this show is strictly for the fans, so what you guys say does absolutely matter and determines everything. So I got a few comments that I had here. Um, this doesn't show all of them, so I'm gonna go back a little bit further, just to catch up on a few of these that I missed. Actually, I actually missed quite a bit of these, so I'm gonna go back. Uh, and this is Coach Sean coming. Coach Sean, what's going on, man? If you're still in, what's going on? He says, I guarantee you, Ryan will be at the X. Or the Z on Saturday. Yeah, I believe so too, man. I believe that they took that and they took that advice from you, coach, and I believe they're gonna put him at the X or Z on Saturday. We got Huggy, man. Huggy coming in, always showing love, saying what's happening. I think Huggy had to leave a little early tonight though. Uh, it says, yeah, the slots get beat up quite a bit. Yeah, you got to be a physical player, man, if you're gonna play in the slot. They run a lot of routes across the middle, uh, and they get beat up quite a bit. And sometimes they get matched up on linebackers, and the linebackers' only chance is to put hands on them. And linebackers are big guys, and if you run to the outside, a lot of times they're the first point of contact. And they end up having to help block on linebackers, and you just got to be a physical person uh, to play in that slot. We got people speaking. Coach Sean saying, "Hey, hit the like button and subscribe." Absolutely. If you hit the like button, if you like the content, like the content. If you want to get a part in or a part of this conversation, hit the subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button now, anyway, man. Just so that you can be part of the conversation when we do rank our teams on Tuesdays. And that's a show you definitely don't want to miss. We had everybody speaking in there. We got Ephraim saying, said, "What does it look like in practice?" Ryan Williams in the slot, and must something gotta he says, "Must be something, gotta give it time." Yeah, that is interesting. Like, he must be I don't know, Ephraim. I think a lot of it is because when you put a player as dynamic as him in the slot, you can manipulate the defense, a lot. He commands a lot of attention. So I think that's what they were thinking. But the only way he starts to keeps the command of that attention is he's gotta be productive. And if he's not being productive, it's just a waste of a spot where you could put Gio Bernard there, who's a lot more physical. Um, so let's take a look at let me see here. We got that's Huggy saying he had to leave. Tim the Tube Man says that got says UGA is putting belts to Bama's ass. I don't know, man. I think I got Georgia winning that game as of right now. But as far as belts to their ass, I don't know. I don't know if that's gonna be that blowout game that we're thinking. Um, he says top 10 ain't safe. No. Latoya saying he's got 4 years tops, talking about the board there. Uh yeah, I mean, hey, this is a team where you gotta win. It's high expectations out there in Tuscaloosa, man. So you may have a point. And he says, I had a good point. He did more with less than Washington, though. Yeah, he did. He did. Got Coach Sean saying, hey, Pac-12, they play a lot of zone. Not a lot of man-to-man. SEC is a man-to-man league. That is very, very true. It's a lot of man-to-man get plays played in the SEC, says man coverage. That is. That's very true. Uh, so, yeah, everybody's just speaking. Ephraim says, time for Tim Cook to step down. Why would he do that, Ephraim? He's doing very well. At Apple, I think he's making great decisions. They've got a great product. He's taking the reins, uh, and he's moved the company forward. I don't think he should step down at all. Latoya, she says 3 to 4 PM. 3 to 4 Oh, that's a good time to park this show. Okay, 3 to 4 PM. I have to think about that. I don't know if I can do that on Thursdays, but hey, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I can do that on Thursdays, but I take that in mind. I take that into account, man. Definitely. Uh, and Ephraim saying, "What about NFL picks?" Man, honestly, uh, NFL picks. What picks you need to know from this week? Do you want me to go through this week and give you my picks? I can do that real quick before we get out of here. If you didn't know, I'm a 49ers fan. Um, so bang bang Niner games to all my 49ers fans out there. If you're a 49ers fan, let me get the schedule pulled up right here real quick. And let's see what we got here. All right. So but he says he sells you the same iPhone every year. Hey, that's good business. If people buy it, people gonna buy it. Then sell them the same one every year. I wish I could sell somebody the same thing every year over and over again. They just buy it consistently, mindlessly. That's great business in my opinion. All right, so I'm gonna take a look at these games right now, and just to be I'm just be honest with y'all, I did something on B Sharp's Facebook where we picked our teams, and I had Green Bay as my in the Super Bowl, actually. Uh, and I see what they're doing in the Washington Commanders right now. Now I haven't watched that game. So I don't know how it's going, but it looks like they up 14-3. So let's go through the rest of this slate right quick, and I'll give you what I think about these games real fast. Jacksonville, Cincinnati. At Cincinnati, I'm high on Cincinnati this year. I think Jamar Chase is in contention for Offensive Player of the Year. I think Joe Burrow on the backs of Jamar Chase. It's a possible MVP season for Joe Burrow. So Um, in that game, I'm gonna take Cincinnati in that game, and in a fairly close one, I'm gonna say like 24-21. I don't know, it's early in the season. It's always close games early in the season. We got New York at Dallas. So New York at Dallas. Uh, I'm not a big Dallas Cowboys fan, obviously, because I'm a 49ers fan. Uh, but if I had to pick in this game, I got to go with Dallas. As much as it pains me, I just don't think New York has got it together with Russell Wilson at quarterback and some of the decisions they made. Believe Neighbors looks frustrated again for a second year. I think Dallas squeaks this one out at home in a game that's probably like a Dallas score would be like 21-14. Uh, Chicago at Detroit. Uh, I'm big on Detroit. I love Detroit, the team that they put together. I love the coach. I'm not so big on Chicago. Um, but these games are always pretty decent. So in this game, I'm gonna go with Detroit again. If you didn't notice, I'm picking a lot of home teams. But I'm gonna go with Detroit again, and I'm gonna go with Detroit in the game. I think they actually win this a little bit bigger. I'm gonna say 35 points for Detroit to like 14 points, 17 points, 35-17 from Chicago. Tennessee and Los Angeles. Man, if Cam Ward can find somebody to catch the football, they'd be great. But it doesn't look like they have that. I think I'm gonna go with the Rams in this game. Uh, I think Tennessee probably maybe scores 13 points. The Rams put up like 24 to 28 points in that game. So I'm going with the Rams. Uh, then we got New England and Miami. New England and Miami. I think Miami is almost a dumpster fire right now. I don't even want to say that, but like it's just like I don't know what they're doing in Miami. New England, I don't know if they're much better either, but I love some of the moves that they made in the offseason. Um, I'm gonna go with a really close game in here. I'm gonna say Miami wins this game at home. But like 21-20 in a close game where it's just like maybe a field goal last second or something wins that football game. The 49ers at New Orleans. Listen, I'm picking the 49ers. I'm just letting you guys know that right off the rip. And I'm taking 49ers 21-24. Boo to the Saints. This game is in New Orleans though, so uh it could be close. So let's see. Buffalo and New York. Buffalo, I think, beats the tar out of New York in this football game. And I'm gonna say like 28, 28-14 in that football game there. Next we got Seattle at Pittsburgh. I actually like Pittsburgh. I love the way Pittsburgh. I love the swagger that Pittsburgh is coming into this season with. I'm gonna say, uh, so we got Ephraim in chat. Yeah, Purdy is out. That is very true. I didn't think about that. Purdy is out in that New Orleans game. But that's my team, Ephraim. So I'm still gonna go with them. uh, so Pittsburgh at Seattle. I love the swagger that Pittsburgh is playing with this year. I think defensively, uh, they're pulling it together. I'm gonna say 17 points for Pittsburgh, and I think I said 17-10 game, 17-10 game. Pittsburgh, Seattle, low scoring game. The Cleveland Browns at the Baltimore Ravens. Um, man, I think that the Ravens just are one of the best football teams in the NFL. Uh, and I think Cleveland is just the Cleveland Browns. I mean, what can you say? I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with 21-10 Baltimore in that game. We got Denver at the Colts. That's an interesting one. Um, I'm going with Bo Nix to win this game on the road, actually. In a 24-21 football game, maybe. Something really, really close. I don't think that neither team gets away in that game. But I can see some late game magic from Bo Nix to win that football game. So 24-21. And then we got Carolina at Arizona. Man, I really want Carolina to win the football game. But I want them to look good at this football game, but I don't think they will. And I don't think either of these teams are particularly very good, to be honest with you. So I'm gonna take this game in an ugly game. I'm gonna say Carolina can pull this off. So I'm gonna say 17-14 Carolina. And that pick is just solely because I'm tired of beating up on Carolina with my pick. So I want them to do something well. Now here's an interesting one. This is one people will go be looking for this week. Philadelphia at Kansas City. Philadelphia at Kansas City is the over under in this game set at 46 and a half with a 1.5 point spread. Kansas City at home, that's also a tough place to play. Philly looks good. Philly looks good. But also does Kansas City. I'm actually gonna say that Philadelphia wins this football game. The reason why is the health of Isaiah, the health of Worthy. Um, and Travis Kelsey has not been for some reason he's not the same Travis Kelsey as of late. I just got a feeling that Philadelphia goes on the road and wins a very, very tough football game. Um, and I'm gonna say something along the lines of 28-24. Um, and then this last game of Sunday, you got Atlanta at Minnesota. Now, under normal circumstances, I would fly to this game and pick Atlanta because I just think that what they did, I like the offseason moves that they made. But Minnesota looks pretty decent, and JJ McCarthy, uh, doesn't look bad. Like, I mean, what can I say? In the highlights that I've seen, I actually hadn't watched the entire Minnesota game this year, but in the highlights I've seen, looks like he's playing pretty decent. Um, so in this game, I'm gonna go with, I'm gonna say 24-21. I know I said that score a lot, man, but, like, I think that's a lot of these NFL games end up around there. So I'm gonna say 24-21. Well, I'll take it up a notch. I say 27-21. I don't know how you get to that, but 27-21 Minnesota, in that football game. And then the Monday night matchup, which is the last one, Monday night football. We got a doubleheader for Monday night. The first game on Monday night is Tampa Bay at Houston. Uh, that's an interesting football game because I think Tampa Bay has a good team, but I'm big on Houston. I think I like Houston's defense. I'm a CJ Stroud fan. Um, I think he does well in a football game that I'm thinking again along those same lines, of maybe 30 points in this game from Houston. So 30 to 24 around that area. I'm thinking in that football game. And then the last game, we got the Raiders hosting the Los Angeles Chargers in a football game that's interesting. I want to be high on the Raiders. I really do. But I think that the Chargers come on the road and beat them in another close game. Well, I don't know. I'm thinking like 28-21 in this game, Los Angeles. So yeah, there you have my picks for NFL picks, and you can rewind this back and hold me to them. I may start doing that, man. I don't know. This is SEC season, but I may start doing some NFL picks if that's what you guys want to see here on Collective Speaks. I can implement that. And shout out to us like Ephraim in the chat. Looks like it's just me and you, Ephraim. But I appreciate you for being here, though, man. Yeah, you gave some really good insight, though. You got Purdy being out is a big, big issue. I don't think a lot of people realize how important he is to that football team. So he's got the Seahawks winning that game, which is very, very real possible. What else should you say? He got the Raiders over the Chargers by 3. That's an interesting right there, Ephraim. Um, I wanna pick the Raiders in that game. I really do. But I don't know. I don't know if that actually happens. Uh, and then we got oh, he's got Tim saying, "Nah, I'm still here, bro. I had to go to Walmart." Hey, man, be careful in Walmart. Depends on what Walmart you go into. It may or may not be safe. But yeah, I wanted to get through this, man, and get this show done. Like I said, I may park this show somewhere different. It may not be at this time slot, but I did promise you guys a show. So I did want to follow through on that promise. And yeah, so I just wanted to do that, man. And he said Mac Jones is a starter for a few weeks. Yeah, yeah. Uh, Mac Jones is a starter for a few weeks. Yeah, yeah, that should be interesting though, because I think he did they recruit Mac Jones? Well, not recruit, but wouldn't they trying to position themselves to possibly pick him if he had been there? Uh, this is Tim too, man, says it's not a good one. Yeah, all the electronics locked up, so you know it ain't in a good area. Yeah, yeah, you're right. When you see those locks on there, you know that you're not in a good area. You probably should be a little bit safer. So yeah, be careful out there, man. Go to the gun section. If they got the guns locked up and chained, then you're not in a good area, man. Walmart's the only place where you can walk into and just buy a rifle. I don't know if I agree with that. But yeah, man, shout out to everybody that was here for the show, man. Like I said, I gotta get out of here. I appreciate everybody for joining me in the chat and everybody that did join. It was wonderful. Again, continue to drop your comments in the chat. They become subjects of these shows. I will actually put up the comments so you guys can see the questions that we did answer today. We addressed all of these if you're just now joining us. Um, so yeah, your questions and your comments on this channel, whether it's to the shorts or whether it's to um the ranking show, uh they all can become subjects on this keyboard collective show. And somebody asked me about somebody asked me about the trivia questions too. They noticed that they weren't coming anymore. The trivia questions will start back. I will have those started back. I just at the time I was trying to get them scheduled and get a good schedule because it's tough to post 4 and 5 trivia questions a day, especially with my schedule. So once I get them scheduled and get a solid scheduler that I can use, I'll get them back up and running because I definitely want to get them. Once we start into rivalry week, I got some really cool fun facts and trivia questions that I think will be good for you guys. So I appreciate you guys for responding to that. Again, remember, here at SE Season, the chat is the most important part of this show. And you guys, we call you guys around here the keyboard collective. Now I got small merchandise. If you can see it here, it's a SE Season sweater. It's just a one of one right now, but more SE Season stuff is coming. Um, Let me guys know if you want some keyboard collective merchandise. It's something I thought about doing with the logo and everything. And this would be like, and I'm thinking actually not like sports apparel. I'm thinking about actual like collar shirts with emblems on it. Real, real official, man. Since this is the most exclusive organization in sports. So yeah, you guys let me know if you would be welcome to some keyboard collective apparel. Uh, but if you don't know, the Keyboard Collective, like I said, is the chat, and I have to play this and let you guys know that the Keyboard Collective is now accepting more members. Yeah, so that is it. Become a more become a part of the collective today. If you're watching and you have not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. Uh, if you're watching, if you have not shared this content with somebody, share it with somebody you think that would like it. Like I said, I'm based in Alabama, so I have a lot of content and followers that are based in Alabama, a lot of Alabama fans, a lot of Auburn fans, but I'm looking to reach out to more fans from all over the SEC. So if you know people that are fans of some of the teams that we don't reach, by all means, direct them this area so that we can chop it up and then we can get a great opinion from all over the SEC. So uh, if you like I said, if you know anybody, yeah, that's your job as a keyboard collective member is find me some people, man, from Kentucky. Right? I would love to do some content with a Kentucky content creator. I don't know anybody off the top of my head. So yeah, find me some Kentucky content creators. And if you are out there, please direct people to the Tuesday show. The rankings is the only rankings that matter, right? These are the only rankings that matter, not the rankings you see on the internet, not the rankings from these experts that are talking heads that just rank teams based on the teams that they like. No, these are the rankings from people who watch college football extensively on Saturdays. You can tune in on Tuesdays. I got a suggestion to move this show up. So maybe Tuesdays, I'm thinking 6:30 for the next one. But you want to be there. You want to be there to be this to get in on this conversation and see these rankings and hear the esteemed panel give talk about these teams so eloquently. You definitely don't want to miss that. So be on the lookout for more content. Like I said, I will be getting the trivia questions back started. This show right here may move. It may be a weekend show. It may be a daytime show. It may not. It may be a nighttime show. I don't know. I haven't decided yet, but I'm going to park it somewhere permanently. So be on the lookout for that. And hopefully I think I got an interview series coming up. So be on the lookout for that too. I'm just trying to nail down all the particulars on that. Uh so I promise you guys once I started making content that I wouldn't stop. So that's my goal here. And so, yeah, just be on lookout for that. Appreciate each and every one of you for joining me tonight, man. Like I said, I know I didn't want to be on here too long, and I appreciate you guys for jumping in the chat. So we got B Sharp says we talking iPhones, man. Hey, we talking Auburn football, man. Uh, we had to talk about the iPhones, man. I think that orange one would look good on you, man. I think you should really take a look at that orange one, man. I think it's perfect color for you. It says so I wish I was here for this one. Yeah, man, should came up. Should came up. But I understand. I saw the score of that football game and I was like, yeah, he probably not gonna make it. Oh man, but I'm about to get off so I can check out the rest of it though. He said thumbnails five, man. Appreciate it, man. Hey, I'm trying to make them simple. So I just rinse and repeat and do the same thing over and over again. It's hard being creative on command. So hey, we get what we get. But yeah, I am out of here, man. Appreciate you guys again. Like I said, I'm gonna say I appreciate you a million times. If you get tired of me saying I appreciate you, then just stop listening because I appreciate you. But yeah, there's that, man. And I almost forgot, man, when we leave here, if you guys didn't know, we gotta play the outro. All right. We gotta play the outro. I will give an outro to uh since I'm on here with the iPhones right now, I'm gonna give an outro to them. So I I got my co-host iPhone Pros yet to be released. We got the gray one there, we got the orange one there, and we got that beautiful midnight blue and auburn colors. You can find them at your local Apple store when the time comes. Uh, Always ready for your phone and scrolling needs. You know, these are the best devices to scroll on the internet with. These are the best devices to scroll on TikTok with. Apple, if you're looking at this, I'm shouting you out. But yeah, like I said, you guys can catch me at SECZN, this channel right here. Like, subscribe. Shout out to everybody, man, that I do content with. If you found me on Sharpshooters, go over there to Sharpshooters Podcast. Subscribe to him. He's on his way doing big things. I think he's going up to 1,300 now. So, like, you definitely want to go over there and be a part of that. Subscribe over there. To my guy, Nick and Marcus over at Water Cooler Talk Sports. They're doing big things over there, too. You want to go over there and subscribe to their channel. I'm over there, too. You can catch me over there. I think they're on their way to 800 subscribers. So, like, yeah, they're doing major things, too. Shout out to my guy, Coach Sean. He was in the chat earlier. JMHO Sports Talk. Man, this is guy who I think is a star on YouTube. I really do. He doesn't think so. But I'm gonna keep saying it till I'm blue in the face. I think he's a star. My guy, Coach Carl at On the Block Sports. You go over there, man, you're gonna get some very good insight from a coach's perspective. You can't go wrong with any of these channels, man. Jonathan at Bama Fan Pod. Jason at Hall of Fame Sports. Like, I can go on and on and on and on forever, man, about these guys that I do content with, man, because they really are great guys. From Coach Al to Auburn Addicts, DC Wolf, to Tight Sports, Tight Alabama Sports Megacast. Please go to all these channels and show your support, man. I can't stress it enough. It's not easy to do this every day and be consistent. So reward the people that are doing it and showing up and being consistent with at least a like, a follow, a share, and a subscribe. But that's my spiel for the day, man. I've been trying to come up with other things to say, but I appreciate you guys for joining me, man. And I'm out, and see you guys Tuesday, and be ready for those rankings. Peace.